Welcome to our listeners. Today, our second UNIA legend that we are interviewing is Brother Mensa Saleem. Let me give you a little bit background about Brother Mensa. Family, comrades, leaders, and members of the global African community. Today, we are deeply honored to welcome a man whose leadership is written into the modern history of our movement. It is with great respect and gratitude that I introduce Brother Mensa Saleem, who served as the first Assistant President General during the administration of Marcus Garvey Jr. with the UNIA-ACL. During this critical era, Brother Mensa stood at the very heart of executive leadership, entrusted with safeguarding governance, unity, discipline, and the continuity of the Garvey vision at a global level. His service represents steadfast commitment, sacrifice, and an unshakable dedication to African self-determination. Brother Mensa is not only a witness to history, he is a builder of it. His experience offers us rare insight into leadership under pressure, stewardship of legacy, and the true meaning of service to our people. Today, we receive him not only as a former executive officer, but as a living archive of the Garvey movement, a mentor to generations, and a custodian of truth. Family, it is my distinguished honor to present to you Brother Mensa Saleem. Welcome, Brother Mensa.
Thank you. I'm privileged to be a part of this. I was joined with the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League in October 15, 1980, and I'm still a part of the UNA and ACL as I speak. Um, and being the first assistant president general, Marcus Garvey Jr., uh, was a very, very demanding position, very demanding. Marcus Garvey Jr. was one somewhat like his father, from what I have read in history, that uh, he wasn't so much one that would take advice. He would listen to it, but he would make up his own decisions as relates to it. So uh, I just want to make that known that uh, it was a very, very demanding position. And not only that, but it was a big jump for me as
Yes,
relates to holding that position.
yes,
Uh, After having several different offices throughout the years in my 48 years of being with the UNA,
yes,
but jumping to that particular division position was an awesome task. So there was a lot of things that I had to learn while being in that position.
yes,
You see, um, but it was a privilege, and it's still a privilege
yes,
because the UNIA had such a awesome task
yes,
worldwide
yes,
as relates to our people.
mhm,
Awesome task.
yeah. Mm.
As it relates to myself, it really being a member of the UNIA and ACL all these years, it really uh, put a stamp on why I came to the planet to begin with.
Yeah.
And not only that, but there are evidence
Yeah.
throughout my life to
Mm.
verify that fact.
Yes.
Same way it's evident to me the reason why the Honorable Marcus Garvey came to the planet for a particular purpose in which he
Yes.
served that purpose. He
Yes.
served that purpose. And so I look at my life and being in the UNA for 48 years and being privileged to be president of Detroit Division 407 Arthur Thomas Memorial Division, Louise Little for the last 30 years. It bears witness to me through the experiences that I've had,
Yeah.
my particular purpose for coming to the planet.
Yes.
Now, I've never been one to put flowers in my cap
Yeah.
because the work or the positions that I've had was much too important to put a shine on me in particular. And the work was too awesome, especially when I became first assistant president general to the Honorable Marcus Garvey Jr.
Mhm.
It was a demanding position, and he was a demanding person.
Mhm.
But when I look back at all of it, including the present, I realized how privileged I was to be in that position and to steer head my responsibilities in the
Mhm.
UNA. Yeah.
Okay. If I may just chime in there, please, Brother Mensa. During your time when you served under Marcus Garvey Jr., and you served, when you came into the UNIA, did you start as the first assistant president general? Or at what level did you start in? Which year exactly did you come into the UNIA as a member?
Uh, it was October, like I said, it was October 15th, 1980. I did not start in Division 407 at the time.
Okay.
There was a brother whose name was Larry Motley. And Larry Motley was the president of Shaw College, which was on uh, Woodward here in Detroit. But he was also president of Division 135 of the UNA and ACL. By me just really joining at that particular time, there was some things that happened, I guess, between he and President General Charles L. James. And for some reason, um, they expelled him. Well, I'm just getting there and I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
So one of the brothers told me, call President General Charles L. James and see what he would want me to do. So when I called the President Charles L. James, he said, go over to 407. We was on the west side, 407 was on the east side. He said, go over to
Okay.
407, there's a lot of elders over there, and you
Yes.
can be of a lot of help to them. That's how I wound up with 407.
Okay. Was this in 1930?
It was in the lateral part of 1980.
1980.
Yeah, I joined October of 1980.
Oh,
So it
you
went
joined
a few
October 1980. Yeah.
80,
Okay. That's the
80.
clarity I needed.
Yeah,
You
so
joined
I went
October 1980. Okay.
October 15, 1980.
Yes.
I
Yes, I
wasn't
got that.
I wasn't there but a few months before President Charles L. James told me to go to 407 where the elders was because they could use me over there. So when I got over there, one of the first things that the president, who was Arthur Thomas, who the division is named after, he uh, he made me a special representative.
Yes.
So I went from that to doing secretarial work with Sister Bruce Smith. I think she joined in 1920, something like that.
The
Uh,
name is Sister Wu. The sister who joined in 1920. What is her name?
Ruth Smith.
Sister Ruth Smith.
Naturally she's an ancestor now. But
Yes. Yes.
I wound up working with her as well to be her assistant secretary. Uh,
You
so
were
I
her
held many,
assistant secretary. She was the secretary general?
no. She was the secretary of 407.
Okay. Okay.
Sadie Madison, who was in our division, 407, she
Okay.
was the secretary general before uh, Mary Mason, not Mary Mason, but before uh, trying to think of her name. Anyway, Sister Sadie Madison is the one that tutored her to become the
Okay.
Secretary General.
Okay.
Who's the Secretary General now? I believe in Senghor Bay's uh, division.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's the division secretary general you are talking about, not the whole UNIA secretary general. You're speaking of Division 407 secretary.
Yeah, Ruth Smith.
Okay.
She was the Secretary of 407. But Sadie
Okay.
Madison was the Secretary General on a per body level.
What is her name?
Who
Stacy
broke in?
Madison.
Yeah, she broke in Mary Botha, who's, I believe, the Secretary General in St. Gore's division right now. But it was Sadie Madison that broke her in to become the Secretary General.
Okay. 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 Can I ask you one very personal question with regards to as you were holding these positions in the UNIA, um, were you full-time employed in the UNIA or was it just like a side job, just a voluntary side job?
Well,
Or were you
first of all,
full-time employed?
okay, first of all, let me say this. Uh, I was never, to this day, from the day I joined to me speaking with you right now, never was employed, never received one penny out of all the offices that I've held, and I've held many. Uh, And not only that, but I've really never asked for any position in the UNIA. The positions that I've held, everything from president of the division to secretaries of the division to state commissioner, and there's probably a few that I'm not even mentioning. But all those divisions, positions, I've never asked for them. I've always taken them out of necessity. I did not ask to be the first assistant president general to the Honorable Marcus Garvey Jr. That came out of necessity as well. So, uh, no, I've never been employed as such as far as getting paid for anything that I've ever done. What I have done and still doing, I've donated money to the UNA as I'm doing at this moment. I do support one of the children at the in Liberia at the Claire
An
Hope
age.
Foundation School. Yeah. So
Okay.
I've always donated money, not got paid. And I've always taken positions out of necessity, as I'm even doing with the Claire Hope Foundation. She made a plea on the radio of the rock radio media that
Yeah.
she needed people to donate, and so I am donating. If that answers the question.
Yes, that answers the question. Now, I would like to know from you what drives you, what drives you to continue to do the work that you do for the UNIA? What
Okay,
motivates you? What motivates you?
okay, I'm gonna be very truthful with you. Okay, uh, I'm a very spiritual person,
Yes,
and my mother raised me that way because she was
yes,
very spiritual with
yes,
a lot of wisdom. And so, at about 7 years old,
yes,
I went. Her friend wanted to know could she take me to the church. So my mother told her, yeah. And she had me baptized. So after being baptized, I prayed a prayer.
yes,
That prayer was to use me for any endeavor that was needed. But I prayed also this prayer, and that was, uh, however the length of the work that I had to do, or whatever positions I wound up in high places, if that would happen,
yes,
that he made sure that he did one thing for me, and that one thing was to keep me humble. Don't let nothing go to my head that I'm so this and I'm so that. So I've been dealing with that in the UNA for the last 48 years. We'll continue to do so because responsibility is just going to get greater.
your parents taught you very well. That's just inborn in you to do charity work, to give and help the needy.
But my mother, she was a very, very righteous
Your mother
person.
was
I,
very,
yeah, she was a very righteous. She died December the 22nd, which is going to be coming up pretty soon. And
In what year?
in 19, wait a minute, he died December 22nd, 19, this is 24, 1996.
1996. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. And she was 91 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, she taught me so much. Because I never knew I'd never seen my father. I never even seen a picture of him. I ain't getting how they call his name. So we came from a very poor family, me and my sister and her. And so at the age of
How
10,
many
11,
brothers and sisters do you have?
well, I got, well, I had my younger brother Mush, but he died year before last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he
Sorry
was
about
30, 32. And then I got my oldest brother, which is Dennis, and I also got the younger brother under him, which is Derek. Derek served in 2 wars. Dennis never went to war. And I was during the Vietnam era. And I got a sister. Me and my sister, we were born on the same day.
You were born on the same day,
Yes.
so you
Yeah.
have a twin sister.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's in order. But she was brilliant also. She taught me a lot of things. But yeah, so I'm really on a spiritual mission that I'm very
Yes.
aware of because when I look back over my life,
Yes.
I see the things that have happened
Yes.
that couldn't have happened by accident. It's just,
Yes.
you know, you know, I, I would ask Warren, say, if you seen somebody in a river drowning and
Yeah.
you didn't know them, and you got on paratrooper boots that you trained in and all your
Yeah.
clothes, and this woman was in an automobile drowning, would you
Mm.
dive in that river and save her? Matter of fact, I'm going to send you the newspaper clipping of it.
Okay. Okay.
Just trying to, not to pin no flowers on it, but just trying to get those that don't know me to have some type of insight on me. The reason why I'm in the position that I was in with the UNA and ACL, there was no accident. I'm on a mission.
Were you in the military by any chance? In the US military?
Yeah, in my younger days, I had got a basketball scholarship down at Kentucky State. And when I came back, I had greetings from Uncle Sam. I was drafted. So they sent me to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And the officer who was giving orientations, 3 classes within the 2-month period, told all of us in the auditorium that we
Yes.
had a choice. And that choice was at the end of the session of those 2 months, we were either going to Vietnam or we was going airborne. And I told the officer, I don't think I'm gonna do neither one. And he said, "Oh, you're gonna do one of them." I said, "So you telling me I'm gonna either jump out of the airplane or I'm going to Vietnam and kill somebody, and somebody gonna kill me. He said, that's pretty much it. I said, those are the two choices. I said, in a nutshell. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I don't think I'm gonna do either one of them. He said, well, you got a third choice. I said, I'll take that one. I said, what's that one? He said, a third choice. He said, a third choice, you can go AWOL, get caught and do 5 years in prison. I said, no, no, that's all right. I'll go airborne. Okay, so that's how I wound up with the 173rd Airborne Unit. However, at the end of the training, they disqualified me from jumping because I had bad knee. That's why I got 6 knee operations right now. 3 on the right, 3 on the left. Need 2 total kneecap operations at this point, along with an enlarged prostate that I've been having for 3 years. And just a month ago, they cut belly open. So these are the ailments that I've been working with and still dealing with. The UNA ain't missed a day, ain't missed a beat. Because I realized my purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to put no flowers on myself. No, not
Yes. Okay.
because
Brother
everybody else
Mensa.
seen the woman. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that introductory information about yourself. We're now going to dive into the questions that I had lined up for you. Can I
Okay.
start asking you question one?
Sure.
Okay. It's based on the leadership at the highest level. The dog is here on my chair. As the first Assistant President General under Marcus Garvey Jr., what were your core responsibilities and how did you function as a stabilizing pillar of that administration?
Well, the first thing in terms of my responsibilities is to assist the President General in anything that he needed. And that was quite a bit. It was very demanding uh, that I did that. Uh, some of the responsibilities were enlightening other President Generals. There are 4 President Generals to the President General, first, second, third, and fourth. But each President General has a particular location throughout the world that they are responsible for. First Assistant President General is responsible for all the African Negroes, if you will, in the United States. And the other 3 also had different locations, whether it be the Caribbean or other places. So, in addition to um, assisting the President General in terms of things that he needed, reports as such, whether it be uh, from the Secretary General or whether it be from other President Generals or etc. Another thing, other things that I did that I was responsible for was here again, making sure that if there was any venues that he needed to be at uh, to lecture or whatever else was going on at those venues, I had to make sure that everything in that particular era, dots, the I's was dotted and the T's was crossed in relation to dealing with the lower officers uh, of different divisions that had to be responsible for making that happen. Uh, so it was a very demanding job. It was a job that I wound up getting out of necessity. As I've said, I've never asked for any officer job, only taken all of them out of necessity. And that particular situation, how I wound up with that was that it basically boiled down to me or single. And I'm very surprised that the body voted me over single to be the first assistant president Joe to the Honorable Marcus Garvey Jr. However, in understanding how he became the president Joe, it really was no mystery to me that I did become
How,
his.
how who became President General? Who are you referring to? Marcus Garvey Jr.
Yes,
or
Marcus
Brother
Garvey Jr.
Sengo? Okay, I thought you
Marcus
were
Garvey
referring to
Jr.
Brother Sengo Baye. Okay,
No, it would boil down to either I was going to be his first assistant president Joe or Senghor Bay was going to be his first assistant president Joe. So the
were
body took
you
a
were
vote.
you and Brother Sengo Baye in the UNIA at the same time? When you arrived, was Brother Sengo Baye there already in 1980?
I believe we pretty much arrived pretty much close to the same time. Even
Okay,
though he may
okay,
have beat me, he may have beat me by maybe a few months or so. Because I'm
okay,
not really sure when, but I think we arrived pretty much around the same time.
all
But
right,
anyway,
okay,
that's what it boiled down to. It was either I was going to be the first assistant or he was going to be the first assistant. And for some odd reason, the body chose me, elected
okay,
me to be his first
okay,
assistant.
okay. And then who was the second, third, and fourth from you?
Who were the first?
Who were the second after you, the second assistant president general, third, and the fourth? The time you were first assistant.
You know, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. But I'll say this
Are
about
the
that.
ones that you recall. The reason I'm
Not
asking, I'm
really.
trying to see that during that time, did former President General Senghor Baye, when you were elected, like you say, it would have either been him or yourself to be the
Yeah,
first Assistant President General to the Honorable Marcus Garvey Jr., who is the son of Marcus Garvey, when he was President General. And that was around 1972,
that was. Yeah,
1980.
that was no, that was 19. Marcus Garvey Jr. was elected at the Howard Hotel in Washington, D.C. in the year of August of 1992.
Or
And
1992. Yes.
yeah, I think Senghor, when I was the first assistant, I think Senghor was either the third or the second, and I
Okay.
was the
When
first.
you were the first assistant, Senghor was the third or the second. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Now,
Okay. That makes
now,
sense.
I just, I just acquired. He wrote a book. Senghor wrote a book. I
Yes.
just acquired his book about 5 months ago, and he sent it to me.
Yes.
But in
Yes.
there, he got me as the first assistant president, John Marcus Garvey Jr.,
Yes.
and as well as all the other officers that was around that era, as well as
Yes.
pictures in the book.
As well
So
as?
yeah, I think he was either the second or the third at that time.
Okay. 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 I'm going to ask you question two, working directly with the Garvey legacy, what was it like working closely with Marcus Garvey Jr. as a leader, a son of a global icon, and custodian of a powerful legacy? I know you said he was very strict
Yeah,
and he
very
was like
demanding.
his father, very demanding.
Yeah,
Um,
very.
okay, what was it like for you working with him? Did
Well,
you do a lot of traveling with him, seeing that you also used to secure venues for his speeches?
not so much with him, but uh, at different times, um, naturally setting up conventions uh, in different parts of the world. E- Even here in Detroit,
I see the name is Marcus Ballard. Did you name your son Marcus?
I named Marcus after two icons. I named Marcus after Muhammad Ali, and I named him after Marcus Garvey. That's why his name is Marcus Ali Ballard.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But in relation to your question, uh, I was so engulfed with the
Yes,
responsibilities of what I had to do. I never
yes.
really looked at. Really looked at Marcus Garvey Jr. as in that sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was so involved in what I was doing and learning as I go what I was doing till I wasn't looking at it as him being an icon, so to speak. You know, um, because the
Looking at
responsibility.
him as the son of a global icon, did you ever look at him in that way? The father
And I
is the
look at
one who's the global icon. And when you were
yeah,
working with him, did you feel that
no, I didn't
prestige?
feel. I didn't feel anything of that type of feeling.
Okay.
I was too involved with having to do what I had to do.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but but here you heard me say that I was baptized and I said a prayer. And in that prayer I said, I don't care how you use me or where you take me or how high you take me, but do one thing for me, and that was keep me humble. So so it, it was the flow in which I was working that I didn't have time to think on that type of a level. But when I look
Okay.
back over my life,
Yes.
uh, and there's so much I could tell you that happened that it couldn't have been by accident. There is the elders looking over me. There is the creator looking over me because
Yes.
because the experiences that I've had, you know, it just let me know that. I told you the other day that I was going to be interviewed on somebody's channel podcast.
Yes.
Okay, here I am.
Yes.
After that was told me by the elders.
Yes.
So what I'm saying, there's no point in me trying to take credit for anything because it's just destined beyond my
Yes.
control. It's my path.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Thank
I'm
you
not
so
a
much,
very
Brother
I'm not
Mensa.
I'm not I'm not I'm not I'm not a very smart person. I mean, I'm not one that that I don't know how to put it, but let me just say I'm just average. I'll put it like that.
Thank you, Brother Mensa. And thank you for having um being spiritually visioned that this podcast was going to happen. And it's happening right now. Thank you
I
for
told my
that
son,
affirmation.
I told my son 3 days ago that this was going to happen. The one that's a
Wow.
professional boxer. I told him 3 days
Wow.
ago when he was over here that that was going to happen. Then you called.
Yesterday. Thank you. Now, in your family, it seems like you are gifted with sports. Your son is a professional boxer. You yourself, you are a basketball player. You are 6 foot, how many
6 foot
inches?
even. 6 foot even. 72 inches. 6 foot even.
Wow.
But then,
And you,
mine stem from high school. I played football, ran track, played basketball. Like I say,
did you
I was
play
in.
basketball professionally, like your son plays boxing professionally?
No, I think the community where I was from thought that I was going to wind up being a professional basketball player. But if you notice, I said I had 6 knee operations. So that let me know right
Yes.
there that that wasn't meant to be. Because if you're a professional person and you have an operation as such, you don't get the money that you would be getting because you don't perform.
Yes.
So with
But when
six
did you
knee
start having
operations,
your operations? Did you start having them when you were young or when you were older?
my last operation took me away from the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League for one whole entire year. That was from 19 that was from August of 1991 to August of 1992. Now, you could stop me because this is something that's also documented in the Charles Wright African American Museum here in Detroit. What I'm fixing to tell you. Okay, I was away for a whole year with a knee operation, and so I was taking care of Arthur Thomas, who was in his 90s, and he's very sick. And I was practically staying in his home, taking care of him, sleeping with him, and the whole 9 yards. Helping me go to the bathroom and you name it. And we would sit and talk for hours to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. He'd tell me things about the UNA, tell me things about uh, the Nation of Islam, tell me things about uh, Elijah Muhammad, who was a member at one time of the UNA. So what the point I'm trying to make is that I would dream a lot, and I would dream about the dead. And my mother, me coming from a poor family, or us coming from a poor family, she always played the numbers. And at that time, they had the street numbers where the number man would come by your house and a penny would bring you $5. And mom played them all the time. And for some odd reason, even pretty close to her death, she still played them. But I always tell her when I dream about the dead that play that number. And to this day, she never hit it. So after a while, I started using it to tell me things. Well, in taking care of Brother Thomas, I had dreamed about the dead. And I went back and I told him, I say, well, Brother Thomas, I'm doing pretty good now. I'm walking since I had the knee operation. And I'm also back with the Division 407. He said,
Yes.
what? I said, yeah. He said, well, I said, but we're having problems. He said, well, what do you mean? He said, get that pillow and prop me up because I propped the pillow up behind his head. He said, now what kind of problems? He said, it's good that you're back, but what kind of problems are they having? I said,
Yes.
well, Marcus Garvey Jr. is running for the presidency to be the president general. And he's in Washington. And Brother Hannibal said that he could only get a vehicle to go to Washington for one day.
Yeah.
And there weren't many members left in the UNIA in Division 07 because there was a brother named Malik Shabazz. He left, and some of the members left and went with him for the organization that he started. So there wasn't a whole lot of members left. So I said, well, where is where is Leroy Jackson, who died at 97 years old? But at that time, he was still living. I said, where's he at? And he said, well, he's in Washington, D.C., because Marcus Garvey Jr. is running for the presidency. And I said, well, where's Reverend Hudson? He said, he's also in Washington, D.C. I said, well, how come y'all ain't there? He said, because I could only get a car for one day. And Ruth Smith, the one I told you that was secretary, she said she
Yes,
wasn't
Ruth
going
Smith.
there for, yeah. She said she wasn't going there for no one day. And Sister Sadie Madison, who I told you was Secretary Jones, she had a bad back, and she said she wasn't going to drive or help drive because she had a bad back. And uh, Sister Aisha, uh, she didn't have no money, and her
Yeah.
husband said that he wasn't going. So I said, well, I'm telling Arthur Thomas this as I got it propped up, and he looked at me and he said to me one word,
Mhm.
and you know what that word was?
No.
He looked me dead in my face and he said, "Fix it." And I, I didn't know what to say. I just got there myself to hear all
You
this,
found yourself there in
and
DC.
he told me in one word, "Fix it."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yes, sir." So that's what I did. I went back home and I talked to my mother about it. She said, well, I think if I was you, I'd try to get a vehicle, put you there for more than one day. So I got on the phone, and this is documented with the Secretary General Brenda. This is what I'm telling you now. And so I got on the phone, I'm calling. I land a vehicle. And she said, I got a Buick coming in. If you can get here before 6 o'clock, closing time, you could get that Buick, and it sits 6 people very comfortably. So now Hannibal, who was on the west side, I'm on the east side. My license is suspended. I called Hannibal. So Hannibal, I got a vehicle, man. We have for 4 days.
Yeah.
If we get there at 6 o'clock, and it's 3 o'clock then. And he said, well, what you waiting on? Get your butt on over here. Now my license suspended. I don't know if I really want to take that chance. But I went on,
Yeah.
took it anyway. I jumped in my vehicle. I jumped down in the freeway, ran smack into a traffic jam. And the traffic moving like a snail. By the time I got to his house on the west side, it was like 10 minutes to 5. He stepped out the door with shaving cream all over his face with his finger pointing up. 1 minute, I said, Lord have mercy. We ain't gonna make it. There ain't no way we gonna make it over there at 6 o'clock. He finally comes out. He know my license is suspended. He said, move over, Mensa. I'm gonna drive. Now he take insulin. I don't want to embarrass him and say, have you had your insulin? Because I know if you ain't got your insulin, you're going to be dizzy driving. But I didn't say nothing. I
Mm.
got out, moved over. He
Mm.
jumped behind him, jumped down on the freeway, ran smack into a jam. I said, we ain't going to make it. He said, yes, we will. He hit that little concrete part, driving at about 45 miles an hour down through there. To make a long story short, when we got to the area where the vehicle was. He said, Mensa, what's the address? I said, I didn't get that. He said, you didn't get the address? I said, they messing with me, sister. They messing with me. They messing with me.
What happened then?
Hold on for a second, sister.
Okay.
Okay, so he said, you didn't get the address? I said,
Yes.
no. He said, man, it's 4 minutes to 6. And I'm looking. I said, there it is over there. So he shoots over there. He said, get out, right in there. I run there, she get ready to close the door. I stick my feet in the door. I said, hold it. I said, I'm the one called about that Buick. She said, oh, you made it. I said, yeah. I said, wait a minute. I got another brother coming in because he the one who got the credit card. So we get the car. I tell him, I said, look, I said, you take this vehicle. You get with Sister Madison. You get with Sister Aisha. You get with Sister Ruth Smith. You get with Brother G. I say, and you tell them that we fit to hit the highway and we going to DC to support Marcus Garvey Jr. to be the president general. And don't let them, I said, don't let them tell you nothing different. Y'all meet me at my mother's house at 12 midnight sharp. We hitting the highway. So I'm pacing, I'm pacing 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm pacing 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I hear something. Pow, pow, pow. I said, that's enough, man. I gotta go. I grabbed my suitcase. I grabbed my suitcase. It's storming like mad out there, raining like cats and dogs. We jumps on the highway. We almost had 3 accidents on the highway. By the time we reached
Wow.
Washington, D.C., daybreaking, it's a Mensa. Go up there. See if they didn't vote yet. I runs up. I scratch the door open. First person I see is Marcus Garvey Jr. He got a smile on his face because he know if he see me, we got some more people there to vote for him. The Secretary General Mary Booker, Sister Madison, took the uh, register in terms of the divisions, who was financial, who wasn't financial, and took the vote. It was 5 of us in the car. Marcus Garvey Jr. won by 4 votes. That's how he became the president. Now,
Wow.
now, when it came down to who was going to be the first assistant president, it came down to either me or Senghor. And the body picked me over Senghor. And I won by 4 votes.
Okay. 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 That's also elected position. First
Yeah,
assistant, people have to vote as
yeah.
well. Okay.
So I'm just saying, these things ain't happening by accident. And there's a bunch of more other things I could tell you as well. I missed Vietnam 3 times. Even though Panama wasn't too much better. Because the day I hit Panama, it was right for
Okay.
the men heading down in Panama City for the riots. If you wasn't in Panama for the riots, you was out there in them jungles 2 and 3 months at a time. So when I had my knee operation and went to Balboa Hospital, the doctor said, you're going to have a lot of more operations. And I said, why is that? He said, because you have what you call osteochondritis dissecus. I said, what's that? Said that's an incurable. He said that's an incurable disease that there's no cure for. I said no
Wow.
cure for it. He
Wow.
said no, there's no cure for it. There's no cure for it as I speak to you right now. He said you.
Wow.
He said we're going to operate on both your knees. Well, I was 20 years old. It didn't operate but on one. That was the left knee.
What's the condition called?
Osteochondritis dissecans. Within the last 8 months, I've been in Balboa Hospital uh, for at least 4 of those months. Like I say, about a month and a half ago, they just cut my stomach open. But every time I go to the hospital, the nurse, the doctors, I ask them, have you ever heard of osteochondritis dissecans? One or two of them say,
Osteochondritis.
well, yeah. One or two of them say, well, it's
So,
osteo. If it's osteo, that deals with the bone.
okay, okay.
But, but the bone
Sorry, Brother
and the
Mensa.
cartilage, it deteriorates.
Do you want to take a
Bone in
break,
my
Brother
knees.
Mensa? Would you
No,
like to take a break from the interview?
no, ma'am.
Okay. Are you good? Are you okay?
Well,
Would you like to take some
okay,
water?
I'm gonna have to switch over to my phone. So hold on 1 second. Do you see him
Yes,
clicking?
I see your phone. Yes, I see your phone.
Say yeah. Hmm. Hey, give me this one.
Oh, thank you so much, Marcus Ali. Thank you so much for helping. If you like to join the meeting, you are welcome to to be with us a
Okay,
little
yeah.
longer.
After the next session,
I,
I would
s-
like to
I
get
still have
on.
I still have like 7 more questions.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how that went. And so these doctors and nurses, I asked them, and 2 or 3 of them have said, "Well, if it's osteo, that's dealing with the bone." I said, "Yeah, it's called osteochondritis dissecans, and that is that the bone chips and get in between my knees, and I can't straighten them out, and then or cartilage, and they have to go in there and take that out, scrape the bone or whatever." I said, "That has happened to me 6 times." Well, the doctor in Balboa Hospital told me that I was going to have a lot of more operations because of that. And so I said, "Did I get that from running through the jungles?" And he said, "No, no, that's an incurable disease from birth."
Okay. It's acquired from birth.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had your
And
first
he told me,
operation at age 20?
yeah,
The very first operation, you were 20 years old?
yeah. And
Oh,
my last operation, I was taking care of Brother Thomas of the former president who died at 92. I was taking care of him at his home. But like I say,
wow.
I had I was away from Division 407 for a whole year from 1991, August of 1991 to August of 1992. So when I went back, uh, uh, that's when I found out that Marcus Garvey Jr. was running for the presidency.
Okay.
And I'm
So
saying
you
all
took
of
care
this, I'm
of your
saying all of
President General. At that time, it was Thomas Harvey, the President General,
right. It
and
was
you took
Charles
care
L.
of him.
James.
Oh, Charles
No, it
L.
wasn't
James?
Harvey. It was Charles
Okay,
L. James.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm
So
saying,
Marcus Garvey Jr. came after Charles L. James. He took over from Charles L. James. Am I right?
right,
Okay.
right. And that was in
Okay.
August of 1992 at the Howard Hotel. So I'm saying all this is to just give you some insight on saying these things ain't been happening by accident. It's all a part of my prayer in terms of me being in the UNA and looking at all these things that have happened, you see. Not to put no flowers on myself, but just give some insight
Yes.
on,
Yes. Yes.
you know.
Thank you so much. Brother Mensa, before I move to the next question,
Mhm.
seeing that you were touching on all the elections and how you traveled all the way from Detroit to Washington, D.C. to go support Marcus Garvey Jr., who was running for President General now, and you being elected the first Assistant President General, did you ever consider the UNIA as operating as a government during this time when you were in office?
Well, here again, upon me, prior to me getting or joining the UNIA, I pretty much didn't know a whole lot about it, really. Matter of fact, the way I wound up joining, matter of fact, the way I wound up joining was I had went to a YMCA, and as I passed this room, I seen the red, black, and green flag. I thought it was the Black Panthers. So the brother who I told you, uh, who could only get the vehicle for one day, he was already a member. So he opened up the door and waved me in and said, "Come on in, brother." And I asked him, I said, "Is this uh, the Black Panthers?" He said, "No, this is the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Community League, started by the Honorable Marcus Garvey in Jamaica in 1914. So after I stayed there in there, I wound up joining. And that's how I wound up joining. Uh, but that was 135, it wasn't 407. That was Division 135. And I told you how I wound up going to 407.
Yes, you did explain.
Yeah, so I really didn't have no quite understanding of what it was all about. I had to grow into it, learn into it day by day, and
Okay.
still learning as I speak now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you that you share that. Now, at that time, had you undergone the course of African philosophy when you became first Assistant President General? Had you taken the course of African philosophy, maybe under Brother, is it Dr. Charles?
L. James,
Yes.
yeah, we studied from the philosophy and opinions. Matter of fact, uh, in my little time being in 135, and the president was Larry Motley, who I thought a lot of because he was real sharp, and he was president of Shaw College. He's real sharp in terms of what was in the philosophies and opinions. And he used to always tell me, this is the black man's Bible, the philosophy and opinions. And the more I studied it and read it, I agree. It is the black man's Bible. Ain't no ifs, ain't no ands, ain't no buts about it, because in my studying the philosophy and opinion over the years, I don't see nothing that the Honorable Marcus Garvey left a stone unturned. And I see why he was brought to this planet to give us a
government, a world black African government of black people all over the entire world. I see why he was brought to the planet to do that. If that answers your
Wonderful.
question.
Yes, it does. It does. Wonderful. Now, when I move to question number 3, defining moments of your tenure in the UNIA, which moments during your service stand out as turning points, either victories or great challenges for the UNIA worldwide? Which moments stand out for you during your time in the
Well,
UNIA?
there's 2 or 3 of them, but the one that really stands out is the one that I told you about, and that was understanding after a while that it happened was probably, to me, the thing that stood out, and that was that I was able to be a part of getting the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey's son, the Honorable Marcus Garvey Jr., to be president and hold the same office that his father held. And I was a part of that, to make him also be over African people, black people all over the entire world, as his father was, in terms of being the president general of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Community League.
Mm-hmm. And the second one?
Well, the second one was when I had to make sure, well, I thought I did anyway, I put it like that. Marcus Garvey came to me once when I was his first assistant president general. Okay.
Yes.
He had got some a document from Gaddafi. And he came to me with the document and wanted me to read it and so forth. Because it was quite lengthy, and I scanned over it as much as possible.
Yes.
And he wanted to know should he entertain it as such.
Yes.
Well, now I realized after I learned some things about Gaddafi that I didn't know.
Yes.
And I thought I gave him the wrong answer. Well, to this day, I know I gave him the wrong answer because I told him, I said, no, Marcus, we don't need to get with this. And the reason why I said that was because me not knowing that much about Gaddafi at the time, one thing I
Yes.
did know was that Mr. Louis Farrakhan was supposed to get, I think it was $5 million from him.
Yes, he did get 5 million. He does speak about it in his podcast when he's presenting. He talks about it openly. He did get 5 million from Muammar Gaddafi. Yes,
But I knew
Minister
that
Farrakhan.
the United States was against it. And he again said, not knowing that much about Gaddafi at the time, when he asked me about it, I told him, no, Marcus, I don't think we should do that.
Was
But he
this
didn't
before
do it.
you knew? Was this before you knew about Minister Farrakhan having received a donation from Gaddafi,
Well, I
or
didn't.
was it when
I
you
didn't
when
know
you
what.
when you gave advice to Marcus Garvey Jr., you did not have the information about the relationship between Minister Farrakhan and Gaddafi? at that time. Am I
No,
right?
right, not even a clue. But what I did here, and I didn't even know whether he got the money or not. But I did know where the United States position on it was, that they didn't want him to have that money. So I gave Marcus Garvey Jr. my position on that, dealing from where the United States was coming from. Sometimes when you're naive to things, but as I start studying history and so forth and finding out what Gaddafi was about, I don't know if I can't say that Marcus Garvey Jr. didn't entertain it because of what I said. Because in dealing with Marcus, I see he was someone like, there was a lawyer, I can't think of his name now. He was an elder, and he
Yes.
mentioned in a document, a video, he
Yes.
mentioned that about Marcus Garvey Jr. About the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, that he kind of had a mind of his own. He didn't take advice too much. Well,
Yes.
that's the way I saw Marcus Garvey Jr. was. So
Yes.
even though he didn't entertain it, I still
Yes.
said he acted on what he wanted to do, not so much, what I said.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that was the
Yes.
second thing.
Okay. And the third one?
The
Your
third
third
thing was
most. Hmm.
the third thing was we was having a convention here in Detroit, and
Yes.
and I had to make sure that that convention went like it should, among many other different venues where we had different programs or whatever.
Yes.
But this particular convention, I basically towed my car up
Wow.
because it was going to be downtown, and uh, and there was going to be some celebrities coming, and so I knew my car was running hot, but I didn't have time to really deal with it. I had to keep pushing, and I practically towed the motor up, but uh, we got it done. We got it done. I
Wow.
practically towed the motor up, but we got it done. And there was one of the city councilwoman
Yes.
who was going to be a speaker. There was what you call it, got him on the front pages of his book, Single Bay, along with Marcus Garvey, and uh, he's from Trinidad. He wrote the book Race
Okay.
First. You know what
Oh,
I'm
Tony
speaking of?
Martin?
Tony Martin,
Dr.
yeah.
Tony Martin?
Dr. Tony Martin was coming to town. I had to go get him at the airport, and my car was telling me it ain't gonna last too much longer, brother. You keep pushing it. So he was gonna be a keynote speaker. We had
Okay.
uh, we had the principal of the Marcus Garvey Academy, Dr. Harvey Hemper. It was just too many heavy hitters for me to just not push that vehicle.
And you
And
pushed it and went and fetched
right,
Dr.
that's
Tony
right,
Martin.
that's right.
And the vehicle didn't give up on you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's so many things I could tell you that, all I can tell you, the ancestors and God is with me. I know it. I know
Yes.
it. And also, I'm going to walk again. I'm going to drive a vehicle again. I tried to
Yes.
make to the High Council meeting uh, last year. I'm on the airplane, and they kicked me off. They kicked me off the airplane, saying
Why?
that, well, they said I wasn't responding to the things that they was asking me. And my
Oh,
son, the boxer, he was with me on the plane.
yes.
And we was talking about this a few days ago, And he said, well, Pop, he said, because I was raised in Cane, because they take me off the plane. I was raised in Cane because, there was some things that was going on in the division to a certain extent, possibly still going on. And I was going to try to clear it up at the high
Yes.
council meeting with and so I was destined to try to get there. And here they kicking me off
Yes.
the plane. And so me and my son, we was talking about that about 3-4 days ago. He said, well, Pop, he said, did you hear what they were saying? I said, yeah. He said, did you hear when they said to you, uh, uh, anyway, the 3 or 4 things that he said, each one he said, I said, no, I didn't hear him say that. He said, what about this? I said, no, I didn't hear him say that. He said, what about this? I said, no, I didn't say that. He said, that's why they took you off the plane.
You never heard any of those.
No, I really don't. Because I didn't hear him no way.
You were just
But as
destined
they,
to want
but
to
as
get
they,
to the convention.
but as they were pushing, no, it was the high executive council meeting in Philadelphia. But as they were pushing me down the aisle to the seat, my head
Yes.
was spinning like a spinning top. By the time I got to that seat, I guess I didn't hear nothing they said. I mean, I could tell you some stories. I can tell you some stories, boy. I tell you. I tell you. And I love every minute of being in the UNA. I love every minute of it and still enjoy it. Look, when Mugabe and the president at that time, because I didn't run,
Yes.
I wanted to see somebody younger than me take the
Yes.
president. And so
Yes.
when Mugabe and Omari went to the convention in New York,
Yes. Yes.
okay, they came back to my bedside and they said, Mensa, what do you think about the convention being in Detroit?
Yes.
I said it shouldn't be nowhere but in Detroit.
Yes.
And he said, well, we ain't got a whole lot of members. I said, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Yes.
I said, we put conventions on and we didn't have a whole lot of members in Detroit. So don't worry about that.
Yeah. Yes.
I said, we'll get some members. If we have to use, like we did before, uh, some of our ordinary members, they still members. And we'll
Yes.
put this thing on. And
Yes.
so there was a lot of bickering going on in 407 at the time with some of these women. They couldn't see eye to eye to nothing. And so, I had to take the bull by the horns and still make sure that that convention took place. And I don't know, were you at that convention in Detroit?
You had it.
In what 3 years ago, 2 years ago, right here in Detroit.
Wow.
Were you at that convention here?
No, I didn't attend the one in Detroit.
Okay, well,
No, I've been to the ones in Philadelphia
right.
and in New York.
Well, anyway,
Yes.
we got it done with all the bickering that was going on. We got it done. And the President Jones was
Wonderful.
pleased with it. President Jones was pleased with it.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Out of all the bickering that we did, after we got it done, guess what?
Yes.
The bickering still went on, but everybody, we all had our chest stuck out. Okay? Because we did it. We did it. We
Achieve
did
what we were set to achieve.
it. I mean, we
It's good
did it.
leadership, Brother Mensa, right there.
We
That's a
did
good
it. We did
leadership style.
and we all had our chest stuck out. We all had our chest stuck out. There's still a little
Wonderful.
bickering going on now, but
But
I
Division
just
407 is very strong and powerful. I see at the conventions that the
yeah,
attendance is always extraordinary. You have a lot of membership who attend, conventions, be it in Philadelphia, be it in New York, you guys come out in numbers from Detroit. And
Well,
that's very inspiring, I must say. During my time with the UNIA, I really admire that. There's there's good spirit.
but
Mm.
something you told me, and it really resonated with me. And you said, Mensa, I don't remember the exact word, but it was something like this. You said, Mensa, the UNA has to go to another level. Remember you told me something of that nature? And you was
Yes,
gonna be a part of and you was gonna be a part of making that happen. So you could not be stagnated, so to speak.
yes, yes.
And that I said, now that I'm talking to a real Garvey.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Mensa. No, I mean, Garvey did a lot of great works. I mean, when we look back at all the things he's done, and for us
Yes,
to still be in existence from 1914, there is a
you
hundred and
see,
how many years, and we are still
you
going
see,
strong, although
you see.
financially we're not strong, but the movement continues. Then there's
That's right.
something definitely, it's like a gold mine that never dries up. It's
That's
like a
right.
river that never dries up. So
Hmm.
um, there definitely is a, a mission, purpose that God had sent Garvey to come and do the work that is done and that
That's
we
right.
continue to do. And it's
That's right.
supposed to change
Right.
people's lives for the better.
That's right. That's
Not
right.
only African Americans, but people globally.
That's
That's
right.
why
That's
he
right.
called it universal. It's not only for in the United States.
That's
It's
right.
for anywhere in the globe, wherever you are, whether
That's
you're
right.
black, white, Indian.
Right. That's right. Now,
Garvey didn't
now
mean it only for,
I'm gonna I don't do you have a Facebook, a face account or whatever?
yes, I
Do
will
you
share that with you after our interview. Can I ask you the fifth
okay, well,
question?
before you ask me that question, I'm gonna send you I'm gonna send you a video
Yes.
of a podcast that I did.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, what's the
Okay.
question?
The next question is the challenges behind the curtain. What were some of the most difficult internal struggles the movement faced during that period that the public may not fully understand? What were some
Okay,
of the
I'll,
most challenging moments?
okay, I'll approach that first of all from the race itself. What I saw was the most challenging moments in terms of our race was that the race itself, not everybody, but they did not put the race first. And uh, and I said, here we have a government, a world black government, and nobody seemed to be paying attention to it, and yet it's such a challenge to make this government what it should be on a world stage. That was very,
Mhm.
very challenging. And
Yes.
what,
Yes.
and what was the other you said? What was the challenge? What was it? Was sound like three things you asked in that one question.
Some of the internal struggles the movement faced during that period, the difficult internal struggles, the challenges behind the
Well,
curtain, things that
well,
people don't see, but you're having
yeah,
challenges behind the curtain.
right. That was one, and the other one was I heard a brother speak one day, and he mentioned the fact that uh, our race of people was at the bottom of the totem pole when it came down to being married. We was something like 31 or 32%. And I think he said the Mexicans was a step above us, and the white people was a step above them. And in India, they were on top. They was something like high 80, maybe low 90% of being married.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I said, well, not only that, but when I look at our young men, no, they're not getting married. Matter of fact, they're degrading the black female with the hip hop and all of that. And so I said, and the brother that gave those statistics, I'll say to you that he's known worldwide. He's a, if you will, use
What's
that
his
particular
name?
word. Now that I don't want to reveal.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want to reveal that because I, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you this podcast that I got this video.
Okay.
Perhaps once you look at that entire video,
Yes.
I'll see if the ancestors tell me to tell you who he is. Because I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why
What?
because what I have encountered in terms of Elon Musk, which you'll see in the interview,
Mm-hmm.
in the video,
Yes.
he said something. Elon Musk said something that's very detrimental
Mm.
that can happen within the next
Yes.
4 years.
Yes.
And the figure that he gave, the figure that he gave, I wasn't sure
Yes.
which one it was, but both of them is an extermination of human beings off this planet. And
Wow.
in talking to this individual, he corrected me on which
Yes.
one it was that was said. So I don't want to put his name out there, but take some hints from the video that I'm gonna send you. Because see, because what you have to understand about me is that I'm race first, true enough, because I know it's gonna take black people to save this planet. Ain't no ifs, ain't no ands, and ain't no buts about it. It's gonna take black people to save this planet. And you told me something about your daughter.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
And when I said it's gonna take black people to save this planet, and you'll see me talk about it in the video, it's because if she mentioned anything to you about 3I 31 Atlas, you know about that?
31
Say, do you
Atlas.
know about? Yeah. Did your daughter or you yourself come in contact with that?
I'm sure my daughter is. She's very into that, astrology and the universe and the third eye
Okay.
and yeah,
What I'm
and what's
saying is,
happening.
okay, what I'm saying is that, matter of fact, one better pay attention to the date, December 19th. 2025. That ain't but a few days from now.
Yes.
Ain't but a few days from now.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna go into all that right now. But what I'm saying is that if this planet is going to be saved, dealing with what
Yes.
I just mentioned, if this
Yes.
planet is going to be saved, it's going to have to
Yes.
be black people to do it. But it just can't be
Yeah.
black folks
Yes.
alone.
Yes.
It have to be other races
Working
that
together
have the correct mindset.
with the correct mindset. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you
Yeah.
go. But it's going
Yeah.
to have to be black people that take the lead, and therefore you have to understand why the Creator brought Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, to this
And
planet
why his
because
legacy still
because
lives on right up to this
right
day.
because what I heard you say, you see, put the cap on it, and that is that it's got to be taken to another level.
I
You get
hear
me?
you. I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you,
yeah.
Brother Mensa.
So, so I'm saying that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. I'm about race first, true enough. And there's a reason for that because I
Yes.
know black people is the one that's going to have to do this, and others are going to have to come on board, throw the bias away, the prejudice away, the racism away to save this planet. You might want to talk to your daughter.
Yes. I'll
That's
speak to my daughter about it. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Mensa. Sometimes messages come in small, different ways that you sometimes, an individual will think, no, that's not possible. And hey, that could be the answer. So I'm listening very carefully to you because you are spiritual and I'm taking everything you are sharing with me very seriously. Thank you.
Thank you for listening because that's one thing we as our race of people, we don't listen.
Thank you, Brother Mensa. You're welcome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You got another question?
Excuse me. Yes, the question number 6 is about preservation of the Garvey vision. In your assessment, how faithfully was Marcus Garvey's original vision protected, upheld, or challenged during administration? Yesterday, when I was speaking with Brother Sengo Baye, I interviewed
Mm-hmm.
him yesterday, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Baye, and I was very touched with the part where he spoke about during the time when Garvey was castrated for those 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of commotion going on in the UNIA where they even elected him out of being President General, making it even, making the grounds even fertile for the Edgar Hoovers who were trying to build a case against Garvey. But even though they still couldn't come up with a tangible case to accuse the Honorable Right Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
So, in your assessment, how faithfully was Marcus Garvey's original vision protected, upheld, or challenged during your administration when you were first Assistant President General and so on? Did you see things, that the vision still kept, being implemented without being distorted and so forth? Because one of his visions are having a headquarters in Africa.
mm-hmm.
He wanted the UNIA to be headquartered in Africa. It happened to
That's
some
right.
extent, the Liberia issue, but since things didn't happen well there, did it have to stop? Are we supposed to continue to carry on his vision? Is his vision still protected or has it been broken by the 2 years imprisonment that he was. But even though when he came out of prison, he still continued the work of the UNIA in Jamaica as well as in the United Kingdom until he died on the 10th of June in 1940.
Right. Well, yeah, it was still going on. And the reason why I say that is if you look at the UNIA today, there are about 4 president generals of the UNIA.
4 president generals.
Yes, yes. You got a
Not
president general.
as,
You have a president general in Jamaica,
yes,
which
yes.
is President General Michael Duncan. You have a president general in Ohio, which is trying to think of his name. Mormai, I think his name is. You have a president general in Philadelphia, which is Brother Akili. That's 3 of them that I know. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think there's a president general in Jamaica because his father, at one time, I think he was the prime minister or the president of Jamaica, and that's Stephen Golden in Jamaica. I heard he was the president, Joe. So, so I'm saying you still got all these different president generals. Now, um, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one UNA and ACL. And the question is, at any time, we're going to come to realize that we've got to bring it to that point in order for it to be on the world stage of what you're trying to do. Is that a must that should happen? Because we all know where there's divisions, there's weakness.
Yes. Yes. Divided we
Mhm.
fall. Divided we fall.
Exactly. Exactly. Now I tell people, I say, look, and I've talked to different people even before President Duncan became president, because it was split up even before he became president, Joe. You still had, and a while I think you had the Cleo Miller. He was the president, Joe. Um, I think that was even when I was first assistant president, Joe, to Marcus Garvey Jr. Cleo Miller was the president, Joe, in Ohio. So you still
Okay.
had that fragmentation going on. But the
Okay.
question is, how do we bring that into unity as it
Yes.
relates to being
Yes.
one president,
Yes.
Joe, and putting this world Black African government on the world stage to bring
Absolutely.
peace, not only to
Absolutely.
this planet, but to make sure that this planet still exists.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that we can focus on our mission or our vision of peace in the world or peace on this planet that we on, that we live in.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because not all of us
I say it ain't
can,
but one way that's gonna happen. Ain't but one way that's gonna happen.
you can
The
say
elders,
one way.
the elders speak to me through the works of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. That's why I know he ain't left no stones unturned. And that's this that in one is he have in the Flowers and Opinions, he had what you call 100 quotes. 100
Yes.
famous quotes.
Yes.
And one of those quotes, he mentioned that the only thing that moves man is force. So it's going to come about by force. Now you have to understand, even Dr. Martin Luther King's wife said that she thought Dr. King was probably one of the most forceful people on the planet. Because you have to understand, force comes in many ways. It don't just have to be by bullets and guns and so forth. There's another kind of force that can take place, which I say that's the force is going to bring things to its fruition, including saving this planet.
Wow, that was so powerful what you just shared there, Brother Mensa. Thank you so much. We'll move on to question number 7 on leadership character test. What qualities did you personally believe were non-negotiable for anyone holding top office in the UNIA?
What was the first part of it?
What qualities did you personally believe were non-negotiable qualities for anyone who will hold office in the UNIA top office? Like,
Okay, the words that
like President
hit me.
General, Assistant President General, and so on, those top
Okay,
positions, what qualities did they have to
okay,
have that were non-negotiable? Could
that
it be
was
the course of African
non-negotiable.
philosophy? Yeah.
Okay, but you said that was non-negotiable.
Yes, non-negotiable. For anyone holding top office, they had to have that quality.
I think that one would have to understand the document that the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey wrote, which is called African Fundamentalism. That's
Yes.
a very powerful document.
Yes. I've gone through that with Sister Gwen from
Yeah,
Chicago. She's taken
yeah,
us through that. Mhm.
that's a very powerful document.
Yeah.
Other
Very.
things of quality is that um, as far as the character is concerned, one has to be truthful. See,
Absolutely agree with you. Non-negotiable. You got to be
exactly.
truthful.
Exactly. If that answer your question,
It
yeah,
does. It does. Thank you very much. Because I just needed just one quality. Thank you so
yeah.
much. And then number 8, lessons for today's divisions worldwide. What advice would you give to current presidents, organizers, or youth leaders and women leaders who are rebuilding divisions globally today? What is your advice to them, those who want to build divisions globally today, young presidents, youth, women, and so forth, who want to start a UNIA charter? What is your advice to them?
Well, first place, if you're talking about charters, you have to have at least 7 people to start
Okay,
a charter,
okay,
and and as far as officership, uh, you want somebody that at least knows something about the UNIA or have studied Garvey to a certain extent, to be somewhat of a leader, if you will. But then you have to understand that leaders are not made, leaders are born. So you have to
true.
look at you have to look at that individual and see if that born type quality is in that individual. And you'll know through that individual's actions. And as the charter or the division increase, you have to make sure there are people that's in different positions, here again, that's truthful, especially the individuals that's handling money. Because it's one thing about our race of people, that
Yes.
money situation
Yes.
always a deterrent for us for some odd reason. We just
Yeah.
can't seem to make sure those figures is correct at some
Yeah.
point in time, which is one of the things that wind up tearing up the charter or tearing up the division or whatever. So again,
Okay. Okay.
you know,
That makes sense because issues of proper bookkeeping, accounting, accountability for how funds are being spent, having
yeah,
transparency, what's coming in, what's going
exactly,
out, that is very
exactly,
important. Yeah,
very
and to
important,
have, yeah, so you need to have
very.
good, because I remember reading something about the people who worked with the Honorable Marcus Garvey himself, how some
Mm-hmm.
of them were not truthful when it came to
That's right.
that side of things, the financial
That's
aspect
right.
of things, the
That's right.
accounting of the finances. Yeah. So
That's
there's a
right.
lot of lessons to be learned that we can improve from,
That's right.
from Davi's time and
Mm-hmm.
even what's happening currently in 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 the current divisions or the current fractions that we have.
Right.
Because
Right.
this very question for these global presidents or youth or women who wants to start new UNIA
Mm-hmm.
divisions, how would you guide them? Because now you mentioned, we have the Jamaica division,
Mm-hmm.
Steve
Mm-hmm.
Golding, we have Ohio, Cleo
Mm-hmm.
Miller, we have what's the other ones you mentioned? There's other two that you mentioned. And
Brother Keeley, who's in
oh,
Senghor
Kelly,
division.
Philadelphia,
Yeah, but
and we
Senghor is not
have
Senghor is not the president general of that division. His brother O'Keeley, he's the president
yes,
general.
yes. Brother
And then
Kelly is
you
the
have,
President General. I
then
interviewed
naturally
them
you have,
yesterday. I did
yeah,
speak with them
naturally you have
yesterday.
President, yeah, and naturally you have President Duncan, President General Michael Duncan.
For which division? Which, well, you
Mhm.
said, is that now New York or because we know Achilles, Philadelphia, Cleo Miller is Ohio, Steve Golding is Jamaica, and President Duncan is New York.
President General, uh, the way
President
I
General
see it,
Duncan.
yeah, the way I see it, President General is the current Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League President General. And the reason why I say that is
Yes,
because is because Senghor Baye
yes.
was the President General, as far as I
Before
knew
President,
at one time.
yes.
But now it's Brother O'Keeley, he's the President General.
But that's
Uh,
for RC 2020. That's
uh,
Rehabilitation Committee 2020. But President Baye was President General for the UNIA. And in 2016, he got voted out and President Duncan got voted in. Is that
exactly.
correct?
Yes, and that's the reason why I say that I look at it as him being the President General of the UNIA-ACL because he won it over Single Bay.
Yes, yes,
Now,
yes.
now
Uh,
we know that in the UNA there are different situations that everybody don't agree on this, that, and the other. Well, that's going to be corrected, as I just mentioned. And eventually, it ain't going to be but one President General. I know this for a fact. Okay.
okay.
So, in the meantime, uh, I deal with it from a constitutional standpoint of view, in that
Okay.
if if Single Bay, if Marcus Garvey, Honorable Marcus Garvey Jr., etc., and those others who was President Jones came down through the line of President Charles L. James, who my
Yes,
understanding was one of the last students taught directly by the Honorable Marcus Garvey,
yes,
then that's the line that I try to deal with from a constitutional standpoint of view.
yes,
Senghor Bay lost the election, like you say,
yes,
in 2016.
yes.
So I know he left and started what they call the reconciliation,
Rehabilitation
something of that
committee.
nature.
Yeah,
Which,
the
which,
rehabilitation committee, because it was there also during Garvey's time. When Garvey
yeah,
came out, there was a rehabilitation committee
that's
started.
right. That's right. That's right. Okay. So all I'm saying is from a constitutional standpoint of view,
Yes,
um, I am in line with the Constitution as far as all
yes,
those that have came after Charles L. James as relates to the Constitution of 1929. Not
okay,
1914 now. There's a difference. There's a
okay,
difference. You got
okay.
1929, you got 1914.
Yes, and you got
Charles L. James,
1918, and you have 1918. 1918 is the very first registration year in New York. So, so
as
the
relates to being
1920
incorporated.
convention was
You mean
done
like,
after the 1918 incorporation here in New
right.
York, in Harlem. So that was Garvey incorporating the UNIA in 1918.
Mhm.
There were six
Right.
people. I have the list somewhere, but there were six people on that incorporation in 1918, and Garvey was the key person on it. But in 1914, he had incorporated the UNIA in Jamaica. That was the very
Hmm.
first. So the UNIA has been existing since 1914 in
Right.
Jamaica.
Right.
Then Garvey came to New York in 1916, and then in 1918, he incorporated the UNIA in New York. Then
And
in
I think,
1920, we had a convention
hmm
that lasted
hmm
the whole 30 days, the whole month of August. And that's where
yeah,
Garvey was elected. That's 1920.
hmm
So now, from 1920 to 1925, Garvey gets incarcerated. He gets imprisoned in Atlanta for 2 years.
right.
Now, during that time, a lot of things happened while he was in prison for those
Hmm.
2 years.
Right.
And this is where Brother Senghor yesterday was touching on that from within, people actually were fighting to oust Garvey, who was officially elected in 1920 by, by representation from all over the world.
That's
who
true.
came to New York for the very first
Mhm.
UNIA convention in 1920 that lasted the
Right.
whole month of August. It wasn't just 3 days, 5 days, or 1 week or 2 weeks, the whole 30 days. We had dignitaries flying into New York to come to this convention where the Honorable Right Excellent Marcus Garvey was elected the President General of the UNIA. Now comes Edgar Hoover, FBI, to now topple all the good things that were done. We had the Star Line, we had the Black Star Line, we had ships, more than 4 ships on the waters,
Mhm.
on the seas,
Mhm. Right.
transporting people and goods around the world. We
Mhm.
had factories right in Harlem. We had grocery stores. We had businesses going for African people.
That's right. That's right. You're
And
exactly right.
all that for people working with you to go against you instead of standing with you, knowing very well. And within ourselves, one person actually set it up, the mail fraud, an envelope empty with nothing, going to jail falsely accused of mail fraud. They couldn't find nothing on his name to accuse
Yeah,
him
empty,
of.
an empty envelope, matter of fact. An empty envelope. They use that. As well as they use a brother who worked, I think, in the post office.
Yes,
They also used him to lie on the stand in terms of the situation. So, but when you look at what happened in terms of that date of 1929 being attached to the Universal Negro Improvement Association,
yes.
I'm saying when I came into the UNA, I came in under Charles L. James, who was
Okay.
operating under that Constitution.
Of 1929.
So, yeah. So all of the
Yes,
President Jones that I served,
I
all the
understand
presidents,
also the Honorable Marcus Garvey, when he came out in 1925, no, 1927, when he came out,
yeah, 27.
he operated under 1929 because the
Right.
1918, the people had ousted him, right? So when he came out in
Yeah.
1927, he did function under the 1929. Um,
Right. So I'm saying all of the President Jones that I served up under served up under that Constitution. And since the Honorable Marcus Garvey, who started the UNA and ACL in 1914, started operating under that Constitution of 1929, I
okay.
felt it was through the respect of what I say is the greatest man that ever set foot on the planet.
Yes,
I felt that it was that I should also be aligned with him if that's
absolutely.
how he saw it.
Absolutely.
And every other
Absolutely.
president general that I have served up under have served up under that particular date of 1929. So when Senghor lost the election in 1960, and I don't know,
2016.
I'm sorry, yeah, 2016.
2016. Yeah.
Whatever the differences was between he and the President Jones, I still don't even know what those was really. Don't have a clue. Other than I did go to the High Executive Council meeting in Chicago a few years back, and Senghor was there. And that's when I heard bits and pieces about he, uh, uh, his President Joe now, the one you say you spoke to a few days ago, and the sister, I can't think of her name, they all started something different. But not nothing unusual that hasn't happened because, again, I'm saying you're looking at 4 president journals, so there's nothing unusual. But what I am saying is that at the end of the day, it's imperative that there be one president journal of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League.
Absolutely.
And I'm more than convinced that that's going to happen. Why? Because when I go back to Marcus Garvey, one of Marcus Garvey quotes,
yes,
and he says, to be convinced of whatever you've already won, not to be convinced you've already lost. So to be convinced, that quote says you already won before you even started.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, question 9 is on unity versus fragmentation. From your lifetime experience, what do you believe is the greatest threat to African unity? And how can it be overcome practically?
Okay, the greatest threat, and I like to go to the quotes of the Honorable Marcus Garvey because he didn't leave none unturned. One of the quotes that Garvey says is that to be educated is to know your enemy. To be educated is to know your enemy.
Yeah.
Now, also, if you know your enemy, you can figure out things as it relates to what you must do.
Yeah.
Because right now, it seems like, yes, that is the greatest threat. That is the greatest threat. But up underneath that threat is another threat. And that's the Negro race itself.
Yeah.
Because
How is the Negro race a threat?
Because Garvey wrote in his quotes, he says the greatest, I don't know if I'm quoting it right, but it's close. The greatest weapon used against the Negro is the Negro himself.
Wow, that's powerful.
Ain't it?
That's very powerful.
But if you know why that is, to know that, you must know your enemy. Let me say something to you. Every scientist in the world right now
Yes.
got their telescopes
Yes.
on this particular. And even though there's a possibility of the world, of the planet being touched, even though they know that's a very slim possibility, but they know there is a possibility.
Yes.
And even though all these different scientists is coming up with different hypotheses or whatever,
Yes. Yes.
the one thing that they have been doing with this space race is to one country trying to be on top of the other because the one that's got the key is the one that's going to have the edge militarily with war. So that's even dealing in space, because what you have to understand is that they can create war from space. So if you know more about it than the next country, then you got the edge. You see, but now, since it's a possibility of it, very slim chance of it hitting this planet, that means there's a force that's kind of got to come together to try to work out some kind of solution. So that means there's a unity process got to take place. See?
Yeah. Yeah.
So here again, you're dealing with force to bring about
Yeah.
that unity.
Yeah.
You see. And it's just a
Wow.
fact. It is a fact, because that is the realization of what's going on. Ain't no ifs, ain't no ands, ain't no buts about it. They do not understand this particular situation. So they try to deal with what they do know rather than what they don't know, because there's so much they don't know. So they try to deal with
I
what they
get you.
do know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's one thing that I know, it's not going to hit this planet. And everybody will know that on the date of the 19th of this month.
December.
Yeah, everybody will know it. But there are other things that they will know also, because there's three more other scenarios that can happen. But we ain't gonna go into all that right now, right? But I'm just saying.
We can have another interview for that if you'd like us to. We will
Sure.
have another interview, follow-up interview. But I
It's
love,
necessary.
thank
It's
you.
very
I love,
necessary.
thank you. I love the fact that you brought the issue of, in order for something that is meant to happen in this world to save the planet, there is a need for unity,
Without question.
without a question.
Yeah.
Now, on your personal reflection and legacy, looking back now, what do you consider your greatest contribution to the movement? And how would you like future generations to remember Brother Mensa?
Okay, it seemed like I heard two questions there.
Yes, looking back now, what
Mhm.
you consider your greatest contribution to the movement? And the second part is, how would you like future generations to remember Brother Mensa Saleem?
Okay.
To
I
remember
have to
you?
answer that. I have to answer that spiritually, because
Hmm.
the greatest thing I have to give credit to my God for sending me here.
Mhm.
That's the greatest. How I would like for them to remember me,
Yes.
I'm going to do this. I'm not going to answer that particular one, okay?
Okay.
Because I've already sent you something that explains that. You have
Okay.
it right now. You have it. You
Yes.
see, you see the plat. You see the plat that I
Yeah.
sent
I'm
you
going to try and bring it up.
that explains that part of the answer.
Okay. Yes. I'm trying to get to the message where the attachments were sent.
I sent you three or four things, but
Yes.
in those things is the second answer to your question.
Okay.
It's
I
a
saw
plaque.
it. Yes, I saw. Let me just try to send them to this podcast. I saw them. Yeah, they in your text messages. So I'm gonna send to.
Yeah.
This is just one that I will bring up now. I'm going to share screen.
Let me
Okay.
see if that's it. You put it up.
Yes, I'm going to bring up one of them. It's the photo where this is one of them. Let me come back to Zoom. Okay. This one, Brother Mensa. This picture's one. Oh, it's just Brother Senghor and you. Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Senghor,
Wow.
myself.
Is it Brother Senghor next to
Doc,
you?
yeah, Senghor is next to me. There's Dr. Julius Garvey right there, and he's next to um, former
Who's the one in
president
the
of Fold
center?
7, Brother G. So yeah, we're all there. But
Oh, who's
that's
the
not
brother
the
in the
one that
center?
say what?
Who's the brother in the center next to Dr. Julius Garvey and yourself?
I can't remember that brother's name, but he was in the
Okay.
UNA before I was. But
Okay.
he used to practically live in the division headquarters there in Philadelphia, along with you remember the program Roots.
Yes, yes, I remember the movie Roots.
Well, the guy that played in Roots uh, was his name Gossip. His brother, his younger brother, Johnny Gossip, and that brother you see there, they were caretakers of the building there in Philadelphia. And Johnny Gossip was the brother that played in Roots. That was his brother, his blood brother that played in
Brother
Roots.
to this gentleman next to Dr. Julius Garvey
No, he practically lived in the building there in
in
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia,
Yeah,
the
along with
UNIA building in Philadelphia.
along with Johnny Gossip, along with Johnny Gossip, who didn't live in the building, but he was there 24/7 pretty much. But that brother stayed
Wow.
in the building all the time. So he was
Wow.
a member even before I became a member. And the
Okay.
brother
Yes.
on the other side of Dr. Julius Garvey, that's
Yes.
Edward G. And I told you about the Dr. Charles Wright African American
Yes.
Museum. Well,
Yes.
Dr. G next to Dr. Julius Garvey and his wife, Noni G, they're the ones that really brought that particular museum together before it moved to be a big, big African American museum. They work very
In
closely with.
Detroit,
Right,
the
yeah,
African American Museum in Detroit, called
yeah,
Dr. Charles Wright Museum.
yeah. But that brother, he was president of Division 407 before I became. He's an
Which
ancestor
brother?
doctor.
Which one? The one in the center or the one
The
next to
smaller
Dr.
one
Garvey,
next
the
to
first?
the smaller one, Edward G next
Okay.
to Dr. Julius Garvey.
Okay. Okay. Then this is the next
That
item
was
you
the one.
sent.
Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. That one.
Yes, yes.
If you read that,
Living Legend Award presented to Mensa Saleem in recognition of your lifelong commitment, consistency, and contribution. We love, honor, and cherish you on behalf of the community presented by ALD Planning Committee in May 27th, 2023. Congratulations, Brother Mensa.
yeah, wow.
And there's the red, black, and green pin next to it. And there is
And the other thing is
a
the
star,
medal.
a
That's the
medal.
medal. That's the medal that the Honorable Marcus Garvey wears on the left side of his uniform. That medal right there,
Oh, wow.
which was given to me by President John Michael Duncan.
Wow.
Ain't too many people.
Congratulations.
There's not too many people got that medal.
Wow. And what does this signify, the service, this
To
medal?
Africa, to Africa. The service to Africa.
What's written on it is UNIA, African Redemption.
Right.
Wonderful. That's what's written on the medal.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then this is, I think it's it's the same document. So, yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Brother Mensa, for sharing these documents with us, that we managed to capture them on Zoom.
Yeah. But here again, I'm saying, you know, I know what I'm here for. It's so I don't need to really be taking. Like I said, I'm just average. I don't really need to be taking credit for nothing really because I'm just I'm just doing what I'm here for, which is
We thank you, Brother Mensa, for your service. Do you have any last closing words that you want to say to the viewers? Because people are going to be watching this on YouTube. Any last words of encouragement you want to say to the youth?
I did speak somewhat to the youth in that podcast that I'm sending you, but I would like for the whole world to know that our race is going to have to take the lead with the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, and in doing so, throwing away all the bias, all the racism, uh, and understand that there's going to be unity in order to save this planet.
Thank you. That's straightforward. There's got to be unity in order to save this planet.
There's got to be.
Brother Mensa, I want to thank you so much for affording us this 2.5 hours talking to us from your bed where you are on your back because of these operations that you've had on your knees. But you've made it possible for us to have this interview with you. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you having me because at the end of the day, it's got to be unity.
Agree.
And it will be. And I'm more than convinced of that. Again, even what Garvey said, that is, I just quoted it a minute ago. When you get to be 81 years old, sometimes you don't remember. But that particular quote that he said in terms of government. But then this was back that one up, and that is, it says that, he said that you must organize, organize, organize until you organize yourself on a level of government. Well, the elders did that in 1920. They organized, and they organized till they organized ourselves on a level of government. But to back that up, even with this unity that one may have with the government or different divisions. The other quote that he said, what if organized fail, when you're trying to organize something, if organized fail, now listen, this is one word. If organized fail, conditions will. That's another famous quote. Just listen to that.
Organize.
If organized fail, conditions will. That's just how he said it. Because if you really
Organize fail, conditions will.
Yeah, because the conditions is gonna bring such through force that it's gonna have to correct that. And it will. That's why I'm more than confident that this thing is gonna work right. And here again, the slogan that he said, with confidence, you done won even before you started, with confidence. Without confidence, you done lost even before you started. So just looking at
I
everything
remember that.
and how it has to manifest itself to save this planet. What Garvey wrote, with confidence, you done already won before you started. Okay? He's not the only one that understand that, but the whole world is going to understand it. That to be that confident. Why? Because when organized fail, conditions will. Will do what?
Will
We'll
prevail.
make sure that confidence manifests itself. That's why I'm very confident that it's going to happen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Mensa. I was looking for the Ethiopian anthem, but in the absence of it, we will do the UNIA motto: one God,
One God,
one aim,
one aim,
one destiny.
one destiny.
Africa,
Africa,
for the Africans.
for the Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
And those abroad.
And those abroad. So it be.
Race first.
Race first.
Thank you, Brother Mensa.
And thank you for having this interview with me. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome. You're welcome. I will send you the recording.
it. All
Thank
right.
you. Bye-bye.
All right.